Hello and welcome to WJTS in.form. I'm your host, Bill Potter, and thanks for joining us. Joining us in the studio is Mike Cummings. Mike is the interim president of Dubois Strong. And Mike, you've been that for about a year now, I think, haven't you?
Correct.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about what Dubois Strong is. Now, we've had you on the show before, and we've tried to explain to people what Dubois Strong is, but you're one of those abstract sort of elements that people don't realize the importance you play in bringing industry or retaining industry in our area.
Right. Well, we're really a first point of contact. I think that's how we view ourselves. And, we're a public-private partnership. So, we're basically half public, half private in the way our board's structured and our funding. And what we try to be is that single point where if you're interested in starting a business, locating a business here, if you've got plans to grow your business, we try to be a clearinghouse for all those resources and try to guide people through that next step when sometimes, people don't know exactly where to turn. If they're coming in from out of town, they have no frame of reference, we can kind of connect them with the resources they need that are in the community already. Or if they are here and they just aren't sure, who to talk to about their plans, we try to help them through that. But we're really about growing businesses in Dubois County.
Okay, and what is the biggest challenge to growing business in Dubois County as opposed to other counties in the state?
It is it's interesting because Dubois County is very unique in that we have basically full employment. You see advertisements in the newspaper every day for jobs open, and I think we're starting to recognize, and really the companies have been saying this for a couple of years now. There's a real shortage of people, of employees, and so if you're, one of our large manufacturers wanted to add 100 employees, where are they going to find them? We've only got about 1,000 unemployed people in Dubois County today. So, if you need to hire 100 people, are those unemployed people going to fit the skills that you need? You start getting into a very tight labor pool. And we do draw people from surrounding counties, and that, kind of alleviates that issue for our companies a little bit. But you can only do that so much, and people are only willing to travel so far to come to work. So at some point, I think, we're bursting at the seams now, and we're really at capacity. And so we really need to figure out some of those softer things. How do we attract people to our community? How do we make our community a better place to live? And do some of those quality of life things that are going to attract people to work here and to make their living and home in Dubois County.
Is there also some work, I guess, that would have to be done in retraining people because they may be unemployed, they may not fit that job, but they could if they had the training? That's
absolutely right, and there's a lot of motion in that regard right now with the new Center for Technology Innovation Manufacturing out at Vincennes University, Jasper. They just announced a new program called the CAP program, and that's basically an associate's degree, 2-year degree, where people could get accepted in the program. They would work at a company on Mondays and Fridays, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday do their normal schoolwork. And so they're an employee and a student at the same time. So they're able to earn a wage as they go through school and offset some of that cost. Come out with a 2-year degree in industrial maintenance is the first program they've got up and running, which is a huge need for our companies. Really short on industrial maintenance technicians. But there's other programs too, skills around programming, CNC routing, these things that we consider advanced manufacturing. They're really a stark contrast to the way we produce products even 10, 15 years ago. The change in technology and the skills needed for those jobs is really accelerated, and I think retraining is certainly a priority for the education world in Dubois County for sure.
Is there a lack of hands-on people on the floor workers, or is it more the white-collar office workers?
Well, I think there's a little of both, okay. But I think production certainly is where the most people are needed. You need people on the floor making the product, And I think that's where there's been a challenge finding workers.
Well, I think there starts to be in the state government a little different look at that, to where they're trying to get schools to do a little bit more maybe industrial arts sort of. I guess that shows my age, the old industrial arts classes.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are college bound is not necessarily right for them, but there are people that will make a great living in production.
Absolutely, and there's really been a perception challenge around manufacturing, and I think a lot of that is people, drive home to our young people in the community that, production work is, you just if you want to go to college and you can get an education, production work is not for you. Well, that's not the case at all. There are very few jobs on the factory floor today that don't require some level of post-secondary education. So you're going to have to go out and get skills somehow. And I think for a lot of people, the affordable choice and really the choice that makes the most sense for them and their personalities and their long-term goals, it makes sense to do some of these associate programs and certification programs, because you can come out of those, and if you want to do CNC operating, you're going to be a very sought after individual, and you're going to come out and make a very good wage from day one with room to grow from there. And I think, so that perception issue in our young people is still there, and it's still something that, we're actively trying to promote manufacturing jobs. We had Manufacturing Day out at WJTS not too long ago, where we had a lot of the local companies come in, and there were displays about their products, Jasper Rubber, all the products that they produce that go into John Deere and Harley Davidson, some of these products that people get excited about, but they might not get excited about a rubber gasket. But when they find out, what goes into making that gasket, where does that gasket end up, then it starts to become exciting and fills out that picture for people, and they say, wow, that's something that I could be interested in.
Now, Dubois Strong is kind of an enigma in a way, because the work that you do is somewhat invisible, and when a company locates here, you had a hand in that, but you're not the ones that say, we did it because of us, company A did this. That's not the way you work. That's not your purpose. You're I guess, a big puzzle. When you're done, if you don't have Dubois Strong, you're missing a piece. What's the important part that you do?
Sure. We, a lot of people, I think, look at us as sort of fishing, where you cast it out and you reel in a big fish. Mm-hmm. Well, it's more of a relationship game where you make contacts. If someone's interested in coming into the county, may not have been any activity of ours that recruited them actively, but they're looking at the area and they need information. We can help provide that information if it's information about how to navigate permitting and tax abatements and some of these things that are available to companies that make our area attractive. We can be that first point of contact, like we said earlier, and steer them in the right direction. I think that's really our most fundamental role, is just to be there for them and for that person who's looking to grow or start a business in the county. They need a place to go, and we provide that.
Is Dubois Strong mostly for big manufacturers, or are you also for 2-3-man shops? We
do a broad range of programs. We serve both the large companies and the small companies. We have the Enterprise Loan Fund, where we've taken a look at loaning money to people who, frankly, couldn't get financed through traditional banks. For whatever reason, then everybody's circumstances are unique, but there we've made 9 loans out of the Enterprise Loan Fund. Over $200,000 we've loaned out, and we can account for about 35 jobs created by those companies. We've not had a default, and so all those were deals that were denied already by banks. People really had nowhere else to turn, and so we provided that startup capital for them. So that's the one end of the spectrum. And then, helping a company navigate through the tax abatements and those things whenever there is a larger company that's looking to expand. We're a point of contact for them as well. We really service the full spectrum and have programs that target really any business. We're ready to help.
Let's talk about this past year. What are some highlights for you for Dubois Strong?
Sure. Dubois Strong has had a very good year. We had first off a very good fundraising year from the private sector. We really made an effort to reconnect with the private sector, not just for the funding side, but also just to fulfill our role the best that we can. We really need to understand the concerns and the needs of the private sector. That's where you see some of these strategies around, growing our labor force, and that being a key issue for our manufacturers. We heard that from multiple companies independently of each other, that's an issue. So those are things that, we've identified. So we really touched base and have developed a very good relationship with the private sector in the county. We were awarded an IRP grant through the United States Department of Agriculture. So IRP is an intermediary relending program. I mentioned our loan program that we have in existence now. This would augment that, allow us to borrow money from USDA at 1% and then relend that to borrowers in the community. So a little different game for us. We had operated off of grants and things before to get our original fund started. We'd have access to a lot more capital. We could have a total portfolio of up to $15 million in loans that we can make out as we grow the fund. We certainly don't want to get ahead of ourselves with that, but we've got a lot of dry powder there and a lot of ability to partner with traditional lenders, partner with companies to maybe make deals happen that wouldn't otherwise happen, whether that's an equity infusion or something like that. So that's been we're very excited about that. We were actually the first IRP designee in the state of Indiana, so that was that's very encouraging. It's kind of a pilot for the state, pilot for our area. States around us have really taken advantage of that program and had a lot of success, and we think it's a natural evolution of our loan program to go into that. We did receive a grant also from the Dubois County Community Foundation for an angel investment network, which we're working to set up as we speak. We've got a meeting tomorrow with some key individuals in the community to start talking about how can we develop a network of high net worth individuals who can invest in local companies and local startups and facilitate that growth from within. That really you would want to. That's really the ideal scenario. Is you can take a company and grow them from within our own county instead of trying to go out and attract companies, which is much more difficult, much more unstable. You grow a company locally. They have local ties. They're usually families are here. They're much more likely to stay here and contribute positively to the community. So that's really what we want to see. This angel network should help us facilitate that, and we're very excited about that. That would really be a unique program in Southern Indiana as well. There really is no angel networks and venture capital availability at all. And when you look at some of these companies now, like technology companies, that's how these companies start. They don't have the bricks and mortar that they can go out and borrow against from a bank and secure it with their equipment. They don't have anything to secure it with. And so, you're really investing in people and investing in ideas, and that's difficult to get that kind of investment from traditional sources. So you need this kind of angel network to look at these things to say, yeah, we believe in this idea and in these individuals, and we're going to invest in it. So we're very excited about that. It's a big step forward for us. And then, not to go on and on, but we are going through a strategic planning process right now. We're hoping to have that wrapped up by the end of the year, and we're very excited about that. That's where we're identifying our goals and strategies for the next 3 to 5 years. We want to polish that up, take that to the community and say, here, this is what Dubois Strong is going to be about over the next 3 years. Let's go get it done. And so that's our goal coming out of 2013 into 2014 is to unveil that and really get to work executing it. So very exciting time for Dubois Strong.
All right, and if you'd like to find out more, you can go to your website.
Absolutely.
Which is?
www.duboisstrong.com.
That's an easy one to remember.
Indeed.
Our guest has been Mike Cummings. He is the interim president for Dubois Strong, an economic development company, the corporation, I guess, of private and public investments that are working to keep manufacturing here, to bring manufacturing here, as well as other companies, retail as well, correct?
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Mike, for being on the show. Thank you for watching WJTS in.form. We are local people watching local people.